Operations of the hard disk drive. Low-level formatting. It organizes both sides of each platter into tracks and sectors to define where items will be stored on the disk. The logical blocks or sectors are related to their physical locations on the hard disk drive. This is usually performed at the factory and not changed in the field. Partitioning. This refers to dividing the hard disk into separate areas called partitions, such as drive C, D, E, F, etc., where each partition functions as if it were a separate hard disk drive. Each track has the same number of sectors and each sector has the same number of bytes stored in it. This implies that the number of bytes stored in all tracks are equal irrespective of whether it is an outer one or the inner one. Also, the time taken by the actuator to move around all tracks is same as the rotational speed is constant. Thus, data is extracted at the same rate in all tracks. Also, a lot of space is wasted in the outer tracks as they have a lower bit density as compared to the inner ones. For improving space utilization, a new technology called zoned bit recording is used. The tracks are grouped into zones and within a zone the number of sectors in a track is fixed. Consider zone 1 which has more sectors and thus can store more number of bits, whereas zone 2 which has less sectors can store less number of bits. Therefore, data is accessed faster on the outer tracks as compared to the inner ones.
Can you compute the capacity of the hard disk from the parameters just listed? We will do this by taking an example. Consider a hard disk having 4 platters, 4 tracks, 7 sectors per track and size of one sector to be 512 KB. Then memory capacity is equal to number of cylinders which is equal to 4 into number of heads. Since a platter has 2 heads, we have 2 into 4 that is 8 heads into number of sectors per track that is 7 into capacity of one sector that is 512 KB which is equivalent to 4 into 8 into 7 into 512 KB that is 112 MB. Can you calculate the memory capacity in case of zone bit recording?
So therefore, summarizing what we've learned in this course module, we started with the computer model and certain input-output devices. Then we studied about the CPU, of what it actually is, how it performs its function. It is the brain of the computer. What is the meaning of clock rate for the CPU? Then we studied different types of memories, including the registers, caches, RAM, and the secondary memory devices such as the hard disks, and arrange them in the order of memory hierarchy. Also, what factors contribute to a computer being faster than the other. And finally, how the hard disk functions, what is the meaning of platters, cylinders, etc. And finally, the zone bit recording for the hard disk. Now certain things to think out or look up the internet for. After having learned the basics and gone through the course module, can you now on your own get a machine assembled? Or while buying a laptop, can you compare two laptops on which would be faster than the other? Another question, why is the cache placed on the processor chip itself, whereas other memory devices such as the RAM is placed on the motherboard that is far away from the processor? What is the difference between the RAM and the virtual memory? As the name indicates, for the virtual memory, it is virtual and it isn't a physical device present in the box of the computer. What are SSDs and why are they better? Now another question to think out is, for a normal hard disk, there are more sectors in the outer track. Can you suggest how this can be exploited to make things faster in a computer?